Well, a good Friday. Thank you for tuning in to the Gardeners Corner program, a Friday feature here on TV Channel 10, located on Charter Communications Channel 191, and also on WKRX 96.7 FM. My name is Rob Hall. The Gardeners Corner program is brought to you today by Goings Auctioneering. They've got an auction coming up 1 week from tomorrow. It will be April 1st. The auction's going to be in Rocky Mount. You can log on to goingsauctionsinc.com for more information, but we'll keep you updated on that between now and then. We'll also share some information with you from Our Pride Foods. They are the makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip, made locally right here in Roxboro. Goodness Grows in North Carolina, and Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip is made right here locally in Person County. And we'll also tell you all about T.G. Brooks Company. They've been in business since 1936. Downtown Timberlake is where you will find T.G. Brooks Company. We appreciate our sponsors, and should you have the opportunity to send some business their way, please do so, and please convey a word of thank you for supporting the Gardeners Corner program. Our special guest today is a lady that's been on the show with us quite a few times, and her name is Jennifer Grable. She is the Family and Consumer Science Agent for both Person and Granville counties for the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service, and their motto is empowering people, providing solutions. Anyway, the reason that Jennifer is here today, they've got a program that's going to be starting up, and they're going to kick it off on April.
We're going to have a luncheon to talk about the program on April 4th.
April 4th.
And then it'll get started a couple of weeks after that.
So, and that luncheon will be here before you know it. But the deadline to sign up for the luncheon, we'll make mention of this, is 1 week from today, and that will be March 31st. So we'll be talking with Jennifer about that, and I'll make mention of some other things that's going on through the Cooperative Extension Service that you may be interested in getting more information about. But good morning, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's Friday, so I'm good.
It is Friday. It's a beautiful day out.
Spring now.
Yes, it was a little bit cool this morning and yesterday, but it's real nice to see springtime is finally here. But we will make mention, even though it is spring, it's still March, and we still have a chance of frost in this area. And, you know, if you've already started plants or seed, vegetable plants with seed inside, that's a good thing, because, you know, you want to have them ready to start, you know, planting first part of May. So, but no time lost yet. Even the days that it may get up to 60 or 70 or so, I know you want to get out and maybe start tilling the soil and, you know, working in the yard. Working in the yard is fine, but as far as planting anything, just kind of, you know, refrain from planting warm season vegetables. But, you know, Jennifer, I think that all of us could probably enjoy and need more vegetables than we actually, you know, eat on a regular basis. And, you know, with diabetes, you know, the more fruits and vegetables we can eat, you know, it maybe not necessarily eat so many really sweet things such as candy and cakes and stuff, all those things that I enjoy a lot, you know.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, tell us a little bit about the program that you got going on.
Okay. Well, what we've got going on April 4th, it's a luncheon from noon until 1 at the county office building. And it is an informational session. We want to talk to people about the program that we are going to be starting a couple of weeks after. So this is not, a one-shot deal program. This is just a luncheon to tell people about the program. So 1 in 3 people have pre-diabetes. So that means they have not been diagnosed fully with diabetes, but they're on their way. It means that they can still possibly prevent diabetes by changing some of their lifestyles, whether it's eating, healthier, getting more physical activity, different things like that they can do.
Let me interrupt you. Do you need a cup of water?
A little bit.
Kilby, if you could you get Jennifer a little cup of water? She's got a.
Sorry, I got a tickle. Yeah, I got a tickle. I'm like, I don't have a cold, but
sorry
of course,
to interrupt you.
No, right when I get on TV and radio, that's when it happens. So, and I can feel it. I was like, oh, there's nothing I can do. But yeah, so this is a luncheon that we're having. The health department and the Cooperative Extension Service are going to be doing a diabetes prevention program. It is an intensive, like 16-week kind of program where every week for an hour, we're gonna do a particular lesson about trying to help be a little bit healthier, whether it's your nutrition, whether it's your physical activity, different things like that. So this luncheon on April 4th is just to try to create awareness about this program, try to inform the community about what we're gonna be doing, giving them information, so if they want to register for the actual program, they can do that. So the program is to prevent diabetes. So if you've already been diagnosed with diabetes, this program is not for you. We have other opportunities that you can participate in. This program is for people who have been labeled with prediabetes or are at risk for being pre-diabetic.
All right. Well, look at there's some H2O headed your way. And while you're taking a sip of water,
Vanna.
I'm going to take this phone call. Appreciate that, Gilby. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just wanted to say I appreciate the program and I appreciate Jennifer's article in the newspaper.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you.
recipes. But my question is, I've heard you all talk about, not washing chicken because that spreads the bacteria. And I've recently been reading, about washing fruit, even fruit like oranges, that's something I don't do. I was just wondering how important is that as far as pesticides go? Is that something, we should be doing, like washing a banana before we eat it, or?
Well, most of your
Curious about that.
yeah, most of your produce you do want to wash. It's not necessarily pesticides, but just anything out in the environment. It could just be dust. It could be germs or bacteria from even flies flying around and landing on different things. Even with oranges and bananas, we're not as concerned about, because again, you don't eat the outside peeling for those particular things. I mean, definitely wash your apples, because you typically do eat the outside, the peeling of those. But anything that is grown outside, we do want you to kind of wash. If you have your potatoes, getting a little vegetable brush and trying to scrub them, because they're sitting in the ground, they're sitting in natural environments, and there are some different bacterias and different even foodborne illnesses that are just naturally in the environment. You're not going to be able to get rid of all of those things just by washing them, but it's an extra step. Just your heads of lettuce, cleaning out the little dirt and the other little things that could cause different illnesses or whatnot. Now, if it's already been done for you, don't do that. So if you have lettuce it's bagged lettuce and it's already been pre-washed.
I think we may have. You still with us? You there? Okay, I think we lost her, but I'm sure she's
Okay.
still listening. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
So if you have lettuce that's already in a bag and it's been pre-washed, you don't want to wash that again, because the more you touch it, the more you could possibly be putting bacteria and different things. But you definitely need to be careful with your produce, because that's where most of our foodborne illnesses come from, is produce. It's because you don't typically cook them. And so a lot of, the chickens and the different things, you're cooking them to an appropriate temperature, so it's going to kill the salmonella or whatever bacteria is on that. But your produce, typically you don't cook it. I mean, maybe spinach or something like that. So yeah, always, break your lettuce apart or whatever and rinse it. But even with your watermelon and your cantaloupe, we've had a lot of outbreaks with cantaloupes and different melons because people don't wash them a lot. And what do? You take your knife and you cut right through the outside. All of the germs and the bacteria that are on the outside have now been put right into the middle of that. It's the same thing with your meats. When you have ground beef, you have to cook that to a higher temperature than you do your steaks, because you take your steak and then you grind it up into a hamburger, into ground beef, basically. So all of the bacteria that's on the outside of that steak is all in the middle. So that's why you have to cook your hamburgers higher temperature than you do your steak. So just trying to get whatever little bacteria, could be, on that melon or on the outside, if you're going to be eating it, but you're also going to be handling it, and then you're going to be handling your mouth. I'm not trying to scare people.
Oh, no.
I always tell people when I talk to different restaurants or different things, they're like, you make me never want to eat again. And I'm like, well, that's also good and nutritious to cut down on your portions. But, just rinse it. Don't rinse it using soap. We're not telling you to wash with soap, because you'll leave, that's a chemical contamination. You'll
So
leave
just
soap.
rinse it with water.
Just water, yeah.
Tap
And if you
water.
have like a little brush, like I said, for some of your veggies, for some of those potatoes and different things, and then washing your hands too. A lot of times you just have so much bacteria on your hands, so when you're eating those oranges or bananas, if your hands are not clean, I'm more concerned about your hands than probably any germs that might be on the orange or the banana.
Well, Jennifer, you bring up some points there that I had never thought about. When you mentioned the watermelon and the cantaloupe, when you slice it, that knife that you're slicing the rind with is actually, slicing
Yeah.
the flesh that you will eat.
Yeah.
And so,
Making sure the knife's clean,
That's
you
right.
didn't just use it to cut up chicken, whatever.
well, when the lady, started, asking the question about, she had heard you talk
Chicken.
about you should not wash the chicken, I must confess, I had planned not to ask the chicken
Not to
question
mention it
today,
this time.
because every time Jennifer has been out here, I have asked the chicken question.
Yes.
And anyway, I think it's really worth something, to talk a little bit more about it, because, the first time, that I heard Jennifer say this, I'm thinking, I don't know about that idea, but
Everybody,
when
yeah.
she explained the theory behind it, I come from a family to where, when my mother has cooked chicken, she cuts it up and she washes it off. And a lot of times she, will let chicken soak in
Yes.
salt water before, maybe grilling it or whatever.
I've been in some very deep, vehement discussions about the washing
I,
of the chicken.
I bet you have. But in case you've never heard Jennifer talk about preparing chicken as to why you should not wash it, here's your opportunity to listen close. So, Jennifer.
Sorry if
I'm
you've heard it
gonna-
multiple times.
That's right. I'm going to pose this question to you.
Okay.
You come home from the supermarket and you have a whole chicken, or maybe you have bought, some leg quarters or thighs that's in the pack. When you open them up, should you wash them with water in the sink?
No.
Well, Jennifer, why would not anyone want to wash their chicken before preparing it?
Well, the reason is because the chicken can spread salmonella. It's the bacteria, the pathogen that we're concerned about with raw chicken. So there's salmonella on the outside of it. So when your water that you're using to wash it, it's spraying it, it is spraying it, and it's spraying everywhere else. So you are spreading salmonella around your kitchen sink and wherever else it can go. Now, studies and research have been done at a lot of different universities to show that salmonella can spread up to 3 feet in your kitchen. So if you're thinking about your kitchen and you wash it in your sink, you're talking about your wall or your window, you're talking about your coffee pot over here. Think about what's 3 feet from your kitchen sink, and that could be as far as you're spreading salmonella because you're washing it. And again, the mindset of why are you washing it? You're trying to clean it. What are you trying to clean? If you're trying to just get some of the slime or the gunk off, you just reach with your hands, because you're going to have to touch the raw chicken anyway, so you're going to have to get your hands dirty. So you can take care of that just grabbing it and grabbing the slime. You're not going to kill any germs that are on it anyway, because the only way you can actually kill salmonella is by cooking it to 165 degrees. your water is not going to be 165 degrees, so you're not going to, spraying it with water is not going to kill any of the germs that are on there. I have had people that talk to me about, well, what about the feathers or the other stuff? I don't buy like live chickens where I have feathers still on my chicken. I'm not sure where they're going
Well-
shopping. I mean, I know some places, but again, I'm like, just pick it off with your hands. Pick
Yeah.
off the slime, pick off the blood, pick off the other stuff. You're gonna have to touch it when you're cutting it up, whether it's a whole chicken, chicken breast, chicken leg. You're gonna have to touch it anyway. So use your hands for those things.
Well,
And wash your hands.
Jennifer, talking about, a lot of times, when they pick these chickens, it is done with a machine.
Yeah.
And sometimes,
Yeah.
You may see a feather
Yeah.
in the wing or something like that. But,
Well,
I
usually
will
when you
say
wash
this.
it, it's not going to wash the feather. It's just going to make the feather wet. Like, again, just pick it off. And that's very rare occasions
Yeah, that's
anyway.
right.
But
And sometimes what I have seen, it will actually be a partial feather still stuck in the
Stuck.
skin, and you just
Why-
pull it out.
Yeah.
But now I will tell you this much: you take a lot of these people that cook half chickens on the grill
Mm-hmm.
for these fundraisers and things. You better believe that they just take them out of the case of chickens that has ice on it,
Yeah.
and they put it on the grill, and that is the best way to do. And like I say, I had a hard time
Yeah,
believing it
yeah.
when you first talked about it, but containment is the
Yeah.
biggest challenge of spreading salmonella. Even though it may be present, if it's present in one place, if you can keep it in that one place, you can control it. And one thing, if you have a cutting board that you may use to cut up your meats on, then if you use that same cutting board to cut up vegetables on, that's not a good idea. And if you are using an old-fashioned wood cutting board, you need to get you one that is made out of some hard laminate material. But if you do in fact use the same cutting board to cut up your meats and or your vegetables or produce, just make sure you wash it between each one. And it's always a good idea to have one knife for slicing the meats and one knife for slicing the vegetables, because you can, cross-contaminate different things.
Yeah.
But as Jennifer said, when it gets down to salmonella, 165 degrees is what,
Yeah.
takes care of it. But it is interesting where a lot of things we kind of do to maybe make ourselves feel better about a situation, where really we're just kind of more or less running rampant and doing nothing except wasting time.
Well, again, you could cause a bigger problem. Like, you're trying to just like, oh, well, I'm trying to just, it's nasty and slimy. I'm trying to get that off, so I'm going to spray it with water, and which is okay. But again, I'd rather have something be nasty than something cause me like sickness like salmonella. So it's more of a discomfort that you don't like how it looks and you want to
Yeah.
clean it, but you're spreading the germs even further. And I know some people like, well, I'll just clean that much better. And again, I get to the point that I'm not going to argue with you, especially if you've been doing it forever, your mama's been doing it or whatever. If you want to clean your chicken, that's fine. I don't recommend it, but if you do it, clean very well. And if nothing else, you can Google "don't wash your chicken." There's an actual video that one of the extension services created, and they actually have like a black light that they'll on the video, so you can kind of see a little graphic that shows you when you're doing this, it's getting on your apron, it's getting on your shirt, your clothes, your hands, the wall over here, the sink over here. If you've got a bowl of lettuce over here because you're making chicken to put on your salad, then you could be putting salmonella on things. And the reason we tell you these things is because it's happened before. When I tell you, scary stories about foodborne illness, it's not something, oh, she's just making up a wild, crazy story.
Yeah.
No, it's happened before. We've had people get sick from cantaloupes, from chickens spreading salmonella, from cross-contamination, all of those things. So I'm trying to help you learn from other people's mistakes so you don't get sick, because salmonella is definitely not something you want to get sick from.
Well, Jennifer, yeah, but it is interesting, when you talk to different people about, different things. But again, it's really interesting to hear different people talk about things they do. But really and truly, something, if you're someone that, cooks a lot, if you do not already have one, invest in a thermometer. And that thermometer will take the guesswork completely out of the game. And, a lot of people, if they're grilling, chickens on the grill, a lot of them will say, well, if the meat comes loose from the bone, I know it's done. And, it is possible that it may not be exactly done, but it would be a good idea for you to have a thermometer to where you can more or less check it, and that way you can rule out the guessing and deal with the mere facts.
Yeah, if you've ever had a stomach bug and you've had sickness or all the symptoms that go with that, just the 24-hour stomach bug is what people often think it is. More than likely, that's a foodborne illness. And imagine that for multiple days, and even worse than you've probably had it before. And a $5 thermometer, if they even cost that, to prevent that kind of sickness is definitely worth it. And the same thing, not washing your chicken. If it can prevent me from getting sick later, then I will not wash my chicken. So.
Hey, we've got another caller,
Okay.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was wondering, I have like a couple snake plants, and then I have another plant, like the house that I actually, deteriorate, break down the leaves, flowers, and yellow color.
Okay.
Every spring when I start back to growing like it should. So I was wondering, could I come outside? I have my, like a shed or roof cover, and like if they talk about frost, I can just cover it up.
Your phone is actually breaking up some, and it was choppy with what you were saying, but we did say something about, understand you said, could you put something in the shed and cover it up? What type of plant are you talking about?
Snake plants, and then the other plant, it has, it grows big leaves that is, eventually the leaves split in sections, each leaf, and that's the one that doesn't do good inside the house in the winter.
Right.
But every time I set it outside in the spring, it starts to come back real pretty.
Okay. I'm not sure of what the snake plant would be, the actual name of it, but if you would call up to the extension office here in Person County, that number is 336-599-1195. And if you ask for Johnny Coley, if he's not there in person, you can leave a message for him. And he's the newest agent there. He's a horticulturalist agent. And I'm sure he is familiar with those plant names that you're talking about. And maybe he can offer some help. But unfortunately, I'm not sure the answer. And Jennifer said she is not either.
Yeah, you'd have to call our office and talk to the horticulture agent, as he said, called Johnny, and he can answer your question.
And maybe he can help you figure it. Thank you. We're sorry we couldn't answer the question. But anyway,
Yeah, I'm good when you're growing anything, after you harvest it. Those are my questions. If you're talking about planting or making something, stay alive, that's the Johnny questions.
Well,
call me how to cook it.
Jennifer, it's really with all the different, plants and trees and shrubbery and
you know the name
ornamental
of it.
plants around here, how in the world they can keep up with the way you care for them and
No.
protect them and the right time of pruning. And I've picked up a few things over the years from being over on the show, but I just, it's so many different things. And a lot of times, I have people that may ask me a question, away from the radio station. And if I know the answer, I answer it. But if I don't, I say, well, why don't you call Johnny Coley and, talk it over with him, because I sure don't want to give anybody any misinformation or
Yeah.
bad advice.
Well,
So-
and that's the same thing with me. Is I'm always just, I never understood how Carl could always have that information, and now Johnny has it, in their heads for all the different plants and crops and different things like that. And so people will often ask me about, I'm planting my strawberries, or I'm doing something. Like, if you're planting it, like, we have a crops agent and we have a horticulture agent. One of those two individuals can get you the best information. I'm sure that I can find you some, resources, but they would be the one who could tell you right off the
Oh,
top of the
yeah.
head the answer to your question. And they keep track of the weather and know, well, you need to take it in here or cover it here, and how to cover it if we're, getting frost or anything like that. So that's why I'm always like, I'm a harvest and after kind of person. They're the growing it and keeping it alive.
Well,
people.
and it's so many plants that have, official names.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't refer to those plants as those names.
No.
And, one of the plants, a lot of people call them buttercups, when in fact they're not buttercups.
Yeah.
I can't think of the actual real name. But again, we'll have Johnny on the show in the next several weeks. But up until then, if you have any horticultural questions, if you could just direct them to Johnny Coley by calling 336-599-1195. And Johnny is also one of the county agents that divides his time between Person and Granville counties. But with the phone system, sometimes I have called up to the Person office wanting to speak with someone, and they say, well, he's in the Granville County office, hold on and I'll transfer you.
Yeah.
So, no worries, no frets, but the agents up there, they're good about returning calls. So if you don't speak with them in person, leave a message and they will get back in touch with you ASAP. Anyway, Jennifer Grable is our agent of the day. She is the Family and Consumer Science agent, and we'll be back with her. We're going to get a word on for Goings Auctions. They are having an auction coming up next Saturday, not tomorrow, but it will be April Fool's Day, April 1st. So we're going to take a trip and get more information about that auction taking place in Rocky Mount, brought to you by Goings Auctioneering.
Mr. Greg Goings of Goings Auctioneering, NCAL 390, announces for Saturday, April 1st at 10 a.m. in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. It's the real estate, antique cars and parts auction. For more information, log on to GoingsAuctionsINC.com. This huge auction will be in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Log on to GoingsAuctionsINC.com for photographs, pictures, terms, and more information, or call Greg Goings at 252-578-1623. Again, that sale date and time, Saturday, April 1st at 10 a.m. in Rocky Mount on Hammond Street. It's an auction for real estate, antique cars, parts, and more. Log on to GoingsAuctionsINC.com or call Greg Goings at 252-578-1623. That phone number again, 252-578-1623. Greg Goings announces that auction for Saturday, April 1st. Log on to GoingsAuctionsINC.com for more information.
Here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program, and for those of you that are wondering the technical name, I'm going to give it a shot for buttercups is Ranunculus. Is that even close, Kilby? It's
Yeah, I
close
don't know.
anyway. How would you pronounce it?
I have no clue. We were trying to phonetically figure that out,
Yeah.
like ranunculus, ranunculus. I said it looked sound like ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, Kilby kind of he's got a really mind of knowledge, and what he extends his mind of knowledge with is Google and the internet. So he looked that up, but
Be careful. Anyone can put anything online too.
Yeah.
I'm sure it tells you to wash your chicken online. So.
but anyway, back with Jennifer Grable of the Cooperative Extension Service. They're going to be having a pre-diabetes luncheon that will be coming up on April the 4th. If you would be interested in attending the luncheon, you need to contact Jennifer before next Friday, March 31st. That number 336-599-1195. And, Jennifer, talking about diabetes, it's a lot of people out here that is walking around that may actually have diabetes and not even be aware of it. And, something that you need to do if you are going to your family doctor from time to time, your family doctor, will be doing blood tests on you from time to time to keep up with your glucose level. And, it's one of the things if they, have medications that will help, control it. But a lot of people, seem to turn the old blind eye to it. And, diabetes is not only a killer, but it can have a lot of bad effects on your life. And one thing is vision. So if you would like more information, and if you're just someone that says, hey, I need to, start taking this more serious, if you attend this luncheon and sign up for the, class and courses that they will be offering, they can help teach you better eating habits and also how to make the right choices. And, it was one thing that was going on yesterday. Person Family Medical and Dental Center hosted a seminar, and Leanne Croissant of the Person County Health Department was there. And what they were focusing on, and the name of the seminar was Rethink Your Drink. And I am one, I love soft drinks, I love sweet tea, and if you go to a restaurant and you sit down and you have a meal, and you wash that meal down with 2, 3, maybe 4 glasses of sweet tea, when you look at the calories that you have consumed through drinking sweet tea, you would be really alarmed and surprised at the number of calories. But anyway, I'm for one that, I enjoy, soft drinks and tea. I'll say that again, and I'll reiterate that. But I'm also one, I love water. I have nothing against water. I enjoy it, but just sometimes, and most of the times, even when water is an option, I don't always take that option of water as I should.
Well, I think people just, they're just unaware of sometimes how harmful some of the things that they're putting in their bodies are. Even if you have one soft drink a day, just one, not, and that's the same thing with the sweet teas, just one. You haven't gotten any refills, you just had a can of, any kind of soft drink. If you have one a day for a year, you have consumed 50 pounds of sugar. Okay, so think about that when you go to the grocery store and you buy a bag of sugar. It looks like this. It's a 5-pound bag. You have eaten 10 of those in a year just with one soft drink a day. That's not counting that you went and got refills. That's not counting that you had your candy at Halloween and Easter or any other time of the year. That's not counting the amount of sugar that, you're just getting naturally. Sugar, there's sugar in fruit. That's a good sugar. It's a natural sugar. It's naturally in the environment. That's okay. So, we have a lot of diabetics that try to stay away from fruit. And it's just like everything in a balance. You need fruit, you need vegetables. You need to get the right type of. So I'd rather you eat a whole orange than go drink some orange juice because you're getting added sugar. Even applesauce. Eat a real apple instead of eating applesauce. Definitely don't eat an apple pie and say that you had your fruit today. That's not what we want you to do. So, but I think people just don't realize how much sugar or, even salt, other things too, that they're putting in their body. So just think about that next time you go for your soft drink. If you just have one a day, you've eaten, 50 pounds of sugar in a year. And I think I calculated it last week because I was doing a program, and it's something like, 51,000 calories.
Wow.
If I did it just from, again, you haven't drank anything else, you haven't eaten any food. But it's a lot. It's very easy to put on weight that way, and it's not good weight. It's just, it's not where you need to get. It has no nutrients. That's why if you look at the My Plate, soft drinks are not on the My Plate. We want you to drink water, and low-fat milk, as well as if you're going to drink juice, make sure it's 100% juice. But when you're drinking milk and you're drinking juice, you're putting on calories, even if you're not getting too much fat or too much sugar, you're putting on calories. And if you're going to drink milk, stay away from the chocolate milk because the chocolate milk will give you all the sugar.
Yeah. Well, Jennifer, you made mention of salt. I am not one to add salt to anything that I'm eating, although sometimes I may put a little bit on French fries. Sometimes if you sprinkle a little bit of salt on an apple, but 9 times out of 10 I don't add any salt. But it's salt in food when it's prepared, and so the salt is not really something that I'm wild about. But sweets and sugars is right down my line. If somebody's got a pound cake or pecan pie or chocolate cake, and they say, which one do you want, Rob? I'll say first available,
Yeah.
because I enjoy them all.
Yeah.
But just the point that I'm leading up to, and I know this, but I don't exercise, and I don't exercise what I preach, and I know a lot of doctors sometimes preach about things and they don't necessarily exercise them. But what I'm getting at is little things can add up to be a lot. And what I mean by that, if you are able to say, well, I think for, where I've been drinking coffee with cream and sugar in the morning for breakfast, then at lunch I've been having a soft drink with my lunch, and then at nighttime, having sweet tea or maybe a soft drink. Maybe you can start out by saying, well, I think today when I eat supper, or what a lot of people call dinner, I'm going to drink water tonight.
Yeah.
And it says, you have talked about before, in preparing different recipes, one of the things that, you can start out with, if you're used to using regular mayonnaise, maybe purchase the reduced fat mayonnaise, and then you may want to try, yogurt in place of the mayonnaise. And if you do all this changing at one time, your taste buds are going to push away from it. But as Jennifer had said, many times, that if you're preparing a recipe that may call for 1 cup of mayonnaise, start out by maybe using a half a cup of mayonnaise and a half a cup of yogurt. And then you get used to doing that, and then after you do that a few times, go ahead and, say, well, I'm not going to use any mayonnaise this time, I'll use all yogurt. And if you make a slow transition, it will be noticeable, but it will not be as noticeable as going cold turkey.
Yeah. Yeah, any little step that you can do, just small steps, and we tell people set small goals for yourself. Even if it's, again, if you drink 3, whether it's soft drinks or teas a day, cut down to 2, and then eventually you'll get down to 1, and hopefully eventually you can get down to none. When it comes to salt, people don't realize that only about 7% of the salt that you consume is actually from your salt shaker. Most of us don't add a lot of salt to our stuff, but if you're eating out a lot, it already has salt on it. If you're eating a lot of, canned or boxed or bagged stuff from the grocery store, it's been preserved and it's used salt. So there's just little things that you can do. If, we want people to eat vegetables. So I don't care if you want to go buy canned vegetables because they're cheapest or because they will last longest, that's fine. I did one of our grocery store tours yesterday, actually. So, and people are just amazed when I take them in the canned goods section and I pull out 3 cans of green beans. One of them is the regular can of green beans, and it doesn't matter if it's brand name or if it's store brand, but it's the regular can of green beans, and then you have a can that says 50% reduced sodium or less sodium. Then the third can says no salt added. The first one, the plain regular green beans, it doesn't matter if it's sea salt or, regular salt. They always put the little label like, oh, this is made with sea salt, like that makes it healthier. Salt is salt. The sea salt is just a thicker grain. It's just a bigger type of salt. But you have the regular green beans, 380 milligrams of sodium. The reduced 50% less is half of that. It's 190 milligrams. The third can that says no salt added is 10 milligrams of salt. So, which one should you buy? The one that says no salt added, okay? They all cost the same. This one's healthier for you. You can add your own salt when you're cooking it if you want to, just a little bit to season it. We recommend other herbs and spices to use, but why do you need to buy the regular can that's 380 milligrams of sodium? Because even if you rinse it, which most people, they open their can and they immediately rinse, the water off and try to get some of the salt off of it. But if that's what you're going to do, why don't you just buy it without the salt? Because the salt does nothing to really preserve or make it tastier or anything like that. So you don't need the salt in the can. Buy it with the no salt added. So just something like that, you're reducing your salt intake from 380 milligrams to 10. And again, so just read the nutrition labels. You can find that out. And that's just with canned goods. There's salt in, again, any of the things that are down the grocery store aisles. Same thing with the sugar. Look at your nutrition labels. If you're going into the cereal aisle, look at the sugars. Again, if you have something like Raisin Bran or you have the Kellogg's with the strawberries or whatever, it's going to have a higher level of sugar because it has fruit in it. It's dehydrated fruit. It's been dried. That's the process that it's been done. So it's going to have fruit, but that's good sugar that you're getting from those cereals. So you can't compare Raisin Bran and look at Fruit Loops and oh, they have the same amount of sugar, so I can have my Fruit Loops today. It's the same thing. It's a different type of sugar. This is naturally in the raisins. They've added sugar to it.
Right.
And that's often why, with the soft drinks, we call soft drinks liquid candy, because you can have a candy bar, which is 7 teaspoons of sugar, or you can have a soft drink that's 14 teaspoons. So your soft drink is double the amount of candy bar. Now, I'm not saying go have a candy bar or replace your soft drink with a candy bar. I'm not saying that. So don't click off your radio or your TV because you heard Jennifer said you can have a candy bar. But I'm just trying to give you an example that is actually worse than your candy bar.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a candy bar, get the little mini size.
And it all goes back, little things add up to be big things. So I'm going to make mention of a couple of things. We're going to get a word on for T.G. Brooks. The Central Piedmont Livestock Show will be in Hillsboro at the Central Carolina Holstein Barn, April 19th and 20th. That is a Wednesday and Thursday. And then coming up on Friday, April 21st, down at the Umstead Farm on Old 75 in Butner, they're going to be having a barley wheat field day. And if you're someone that is thinking about planting 2-row barley to maybe start marketing it to some of these micro breweries, you may want to inquire about that. But that'll be coming up on April 21st. But we'll keep you reminded of those things between now and then. But let's take a trip down to T.G. Brooks Company, and we'll be back with more Gardener's Corner with Jennifer Grable.
T.G. Brooks Company wants to help you this spring. They remind everyone that you still have time for a weed-free and healthy lawn by applying pre-emergent weed control, both granular or slow-release fertilizer included. This will provide up to 8 months of weed control on your lawn weeds that make your lawn hard to manage. Transform your lackluster lawn into a lush and beautiful landscape. They have fertilizers, lime, weed control, get you off to a proper spring start. So that you can have the prettiest lawn and be the envy of the neighborhood, they have some hardwood and dyed mulches by the scoop and pine mulch by the bag. They have all of the most popular lawn and garden chemicals, insecticides, herbicides, and they have plenty of soils, topsoil, bulk planting soil, potting soil, cow manure, and plenty of pine needles. They got for sale or rent spreaders, power pluggers, and plenty of tools to do the work, and nice wheelbarrows. And to further beautify, they have stepping stones and wall stones. Plenty of good advice, too, to help people with their lawns and their gardens. Speaking of gardens, they now have for you in stock onion sets, seed potatoes, broccoli, cabbage, lettuce, and collards. So when it comes to your home or property, no matter if you are a commercial landscaper or a homeowner, T.G. Brooks Company serves everybody. Also, remember, for owners that demand the best for their dogs, they have the Pride dog food line at T.G. Brooks Company. Remember, a hand-cut ribeye steak would be good tonight. Serve them at your house tonight. They've been serving you since 1936. Phone them anytime at 364-2428.
All right, here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program. We're going to get a word on just a minute for Iowa Pride Foods. Jennifer, when is your next lunch and learn taking place here in Person County?
It's actually going to be a little bit earlier in April. It's April 6th. So registration for that is the same time as the diabetes prevention program. So next Friday, March 31st. But the luncheon will be Thursday, April 6th from noon to 1 at the county office building. And it's about canning and food preservation. We know it's a little bit early. People don't usually start that, but this is the time of the year in April. I wanted to talk to people about if you are going to be canning or preserving your food or even freezing, dehydrating. Come and get the information at the April workshop. You can test your canner lid as well. We test the dial gauges. You can bring just the lid. I don't need the whole canner up to the office, and we can test that for you and make sure your dial is good to go. So we're going to be talking about that on April 6th. Registration is due next Friday, and it's $5 to attend because we will give you a nice healthy luncheon.
So if you would like to get signed up for that, you need to pay you $5 and sign up by Friday, March 31st. You can call Jennifer for more information, 336-599-1195. We're going to get a word on for Iowa Pride premium pimento cheese spread and dip that's made locally right here in Roxboro. And we'll be back to wrap up the Gardener's Corner program.
Goodness grows in North Carolina, and Iowa Pride premium pimento cheese spread and dip is made locally in Roxboro. Pick up some for yourself and enjoy. You can get the Iowa Pride premium pimento cheese regular, or for extra flavor, try the jalapeno added. Get some for yourself at T.G. Brooks Company, Supply Line Discounts, North Main IGA, Hurdle Mills Market and Butcher Shop, Twins Meat Market, Food Line, or just Save. Or if you're in Uptown Roxborough and get the hankering for some Iowa Pride premium pimento cheese spread and dip, you can enjoy it at Cole's Pharmacy, Trish's Espresso, and Snappy's Cafe. That's Iowa Pride premium pimento cheese spread and dip. Whether you're having it for a meal or a snack, it's good.
Alrighty, here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program. You know, Jennifer, the time has really went by very fast. If people want to sign up for the pre-diabetes luncheon and clinic, the luncheon will be on Tuesday, April 4th, between 12 noon and 1 o'clock. They can contact your office, 336-599-1195. Is it any way that they can go online?
Well, what they do is, no, they have to call to register, but we have our flyer and we have a risk test. It's just like 7 different questions, you know, your age, your weight, basic things like that to see if you are at risk for prediabetes if you've not already been diagnosed from your doctor. So both the flyer and the risk test are online at personcounty.net on the county website. And so you can download that risk test and go ahead and take it, bring it with you, because, you know, we're going to want that information to see what kind of range you fall on the pre-diabetic scale. And yeah, and then come, you know, call us next Friday to come have lunch. You know, it's free lunch, but we're hoping we can get enough people interested in the program and provide enough information that they can also help, you know, let us know what they want to learn about and what questions they have, because we understand a lot of people get diagnosed with diabetes or pre-diabetes, and the doctors don't have the time or the capabilities of providing, you know, all of that information about what to do now.
Okay.
So that's why we want to bring this program, is to help people prevent from going further into diabetes.
336-599-1195 will put you in touch with Jennifer. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to T.G. Brooks Company, Our Pride Foods, and Goins Auctions for sponsoring the program. We want to wish you and yours a happy and safe weekend. On behalf of WKRX and TV Channel 10, I'm Rob Hall, Kilby, and Mr. Bratch, and all the staff here. Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you too, Jennifer.
No problem. Thank you.